Spawning in the top left, as the red Protoss, it's Astrea. And spawning in the bottom right, as the pink Protoss, please welcome Puck. Puck, representing Root Gaming, Astrea, the Dragons of Alpha X. This is our second semifinals match. We still got two more coming for you. The bronze match as well as the grand finals. In PvP, as always, there are very likely going to be pretty much mirror openings. Astrea getting a little bit of an earlier second gas. We're going to see second gateways most likely go down for both these players. And what's really important is the divergence between what comes out of these first two gateways. Like the previous semifinals, this will be another best of 5. Puck, of course, competing at a very, very high level over many years. Astrea, a little bit of a newer player, still, you know, very experienced, but it is going to be Stalker Sentry from both these players, so we will see expands. Stalker Sentry, the most defensive opener you can do out of these initial two gateways in the PvP matchup. So there should be no aggression for some time. Probably even going to see third bases. There we go. Pylons drop for both the players. Prepare. There's an XI. Astrea drops a pylon in the wall. That is to scout the first couple units that come out of this gateway. It did its job. It's gonna get canceled. Another Stalker Sentry for Astrea. And double Stalker coming out next for Puck. Robotics facility in the main. Twilight Council on the other side. Now, this does mean Astrea will have earlier tech. Puck will be able to get out in Immortal, an Observer, whatever he wants out of this initial thing, or even go into Robo Bay, something crazy like Colossus or Disruptor, a little bit faster than Astrea. Here we see Puck sending out a Stalker, scouting around for proxies. Not going to find any. Astrea playing very honorably. You know, it's pretty standard that both these players would want to play a macro game, especially on a map like Ephemeron, and especially in game 1 of the series. You know, a best of 5 allows for a variety of builds. So we could see Dark Templar, we could see proxies, but we'd expect to see that around, you know, games 2 through 4 of this series. Shield battery block at the top of the ramp, of course. These adepts cannot shade through buildings. Two probes going down from that attack. But Puck getting the worst of the trades, losing those two adepts. Astrea dropping a pylon at the third location. And that does mean he's likely going to expand. Blink first up on the menu for both players. Of course, Astrea did go Twilight Council first. That means that... Oh. Okay. Puck's a little bit scared about this incoming Blink Stalker attack. He knows what's coming. He does have an Immortal out on the field. This isn't enough to break it, though. So, Puck's XD... It's unclear. It's unclear what, he was referring to, but... Astrea gonna have this third base up, and I think Astrea with a pretty firm lead here. Sure, Puck's a little bit up in army supply thanks to his Immortal production, but, I mean... Astrea has that earlier blink on the field. That means he's also going to have earlier charge. +1 is going to be in favor of Puck with the timing, as he adds on 5 more gateways, and it looks like Puck wants to go for a 2-base play. These Adepts going to kill an additional 3 probes. Okay, Puck will be able to snipe the third here. Astrea should be able to hold just fine. And Puck is up in army supply, about 20. But remember, there's a shield battery here to help anchor for Astrea. Very nice force fields coming out of Puck, and now this defense is looking a lot weaker. Mortal tapping at the sentry. Astrea microing his heart out, but I think Puck might just have too much. Okay, but there's the early charge for Astrea. Crashing into these Stalkers, gonna help him hold on for a little bit, but it's still not enough. Puck barrels in, GG is called, and Puck takes game number 1. Spawning in the top right, as the red toss, it's Astrea. In the bottom left, as the blue toss, it's Puck. Puck currently up 1-0. Astrea has all the shots in the world to take this back, though. Best of 5s can go either way. And Astrea's, you know, been making his name for himself in recent years. Great tournament performance, supported by the wonderful team Alpha X. Disclaimer, I've been casting a lot for Alpha X, but they are really a wonderful group of people. Sushi and Snoopy and all the rest of the Miguel, Danaturi, all the rest of the admin team over there are wonderful people. They do great work. Puck, of course, been a prominent member of the community for many, many, many years. So much so as to be a household name. Eternal Empire, one of the more macro maps in the pool. I think that matters the least in Protoss versus Protoss. I mean, the rush distance is pretty long. It means we're probably going to see thirds this game. 2 bases are a little bit more difficult to pull off. Of course, the Warp Prism can, you know, stop the defender's advantage for the defending player by allowing the attacker to warp in using all their warp gates. proxies can be very strong on this map, but it looks like we're gonna have Stalker Sentry from both players, meaning at least passivity up to 2 base. Maybe some Adept Harass. The Axiom Esports logo, of course, in memory of Total Biscuit. Just wanted to point that out. If you guys don't know, there are little things in memory of Total Biscuit and In Control on Azel Naga on every map. Really kind of Blizzard to do that. For some of our now mythical and legendary community members. Blink started up for Puck as Astrea goes for all the tech. Robo, Forge, and Twilight Council to get into upgrades. Puck will have the earlier Blink. Is he going to go for a Blink Assault? This build is looking very similar to game number 1, and it was successful for Puck. You know, why mix a build order up if it isn't broken? Astrea getting out an Observer. +1 started up. And we'll most likely see Blink as the first tech out of this Twilight Council. Oh no, it's gonna be a Dark Shrine play from Astrea. This is a really versatile thing that can work in his favor. Puck did not build a Robo yet. So, you know, we'd expect him to throw one down soon unless he goes all-out Blink Stalker. But if he goes all-out Blink Stalker, remember, Protoss don't have things like scans. They don't have things like Overseers. They have to get Robotech, and they have to get an Overseer if they want to shut down the DTs. Now, Puck does have a probe position to maybe take a third, but this DT play could really do something fierce. Warp Prism coming out for Astrea as well. And it should reach the other side of the map as this Dark Shrine finishes. It's already rallied out, but Puck is on an intercept course. Okay, he pulls back a little. That's going to allow time for the Warp Prism to get out unseen. But how is Astrea going to hold this push? If he warps in DTs in the defense, I think it could just make Puck turn around and go home because he has no way to fight them, right? Nice force fields to start out the fight for Astrea. Blink is going to save their Stalkers, but Astrea is just buying time here, right? You get up more reinforcements. He's only 3 army supply behind right now. Puck does not have a Warp Prism out to support this, so he's slow walking his units across the map. Shield Battery to defend here, as well as the Immortal, and I think Astrea holds this quite handily. Beautiful play here from Astrea. Here's the Warp Prism. It's going to deploy, and there's the DTs. Puck is totally unprepared for this. He's going into a Templar Archives. Sentries try to shut it down, and GG, just like that. We have a series on our hands as Astrea takes the score. Spawning in the bottom right. Once again, as the red Protoss from Alpha X, it's Astrea. And in the top left, as the pink toss, it's Puck. Spore casting from the chat. Ooh. Literally cucked, bro. All right. So both these players getting the gates on the high ground. Standard Protoss openers back and forth. They are tied 1-1. Cybercore behind this. For both players. And it's a double stalker opener for Puck. Okay, so in the two previous games, both players opened Stalker Sentry. This double stalker opener from Puck is very aggressive. He can push out onto the map with these two stalkers, and more to the point, the follow-up two stalkers, and try to get some damage done to Astrea. Now, Astrea is going to scout this immediately. With the scouting pylon, he should cancel this before it dies, but it's going to delay the stalkers pushing out at the very least. Yeah, there's the cancel. Puck is going for 2 adepts behind this. Okay, so this is definitely aggression. You can see Puck already moving across the map, and he's dropping a proxy pylon. Okay, so something else to note, the oversaturation on the main from both these players. So some of you guys, if you're a little bit lower in League, might rally your probes to long distance mine from your naturals before they finish. Okay, alright, so this is a nice play from Puck. He's going to save both those adepts instead of yellow them into the wall or try to shade out. They will both survive just with some hull damage on one of them. As he, you know, kind of calls off the attack here. Now, Astrea has... Wait, has he though? He has not found the proxy pylon. Okay. But this forced Astrea, you know, to assume a defensive posture, get out those extra sentries. However, both players evening up, Astrea at a slight economic advantage. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, Astrea and Puck both oversaturated their main. Now, despite this 1616 number being here, you can actually mine up to 24 workers on any given mineral line. It's just that your last 8 workers are going to be mining at a major efficiency loss, about 30% of their capacity. So both these players utilizing that oversaturation to get as much mining done as they can while they wait for their naturals to finish. But Puck gearing up for another attack. Astrea, it looks like... Okay, this is weird. So alright, so Astrea dropped a proxy pylon below the proxy pylon he didn't know was here, and Puck warps in a zealot to take out Astrea's proxy pylon. Puck sitting outside Astrea's base, Astrea going for 4 shield batteries, and he has an immortal on the field. 2 adepts harassing Puck back at home. Taking his attention. They will get a few probes before going down here as well. It looks like 6 maybe? Yeah, it's gonna be 6. And then he shouldn't be able to get a 7th. Puck's attack really delayed going in. He does have the Warp Prism, which adds a ton of micro potential plus reinforcements, but yeah, see, force fields totally cutting Puck out from the natural, and these shield batteries at full energy. Twilight Council going in the main for Puck. As he pulls back home, he does still have this proxy pylon out on the map. Astrea going for the third base. Looks like Puck might be positioning to do so as well. Actually, Puck's doing a lot of things. He's scouting in multiple directions, sending out a Zealot to check if Astrea has a third, moving out the Warp Prism. You can see it's always beautiful to see the scouting game on these high-level probes. They have the attention to spare, and they know how valuable that information can be. This Zealot gonna bash at these shields. Astrea has his own Warp Prism in play. It's a fake Phoenix tagged onto here, so not going to do very much. Puck going for his own third. This is a little bit delayed, though. Astrea ahead in the worker count. Oh, thanks for the kind words, Herp. Really appreciate it. Okay, so Puck is coming in from all over the place. He like, these two players have the map alive with tiny dots. Warp Prism moving out here. Disruptor going for a harass on the main army here. Phoenix scouting all over the sky, trying to keep on top of Astrea's army. Astrea moving to the bottom left with his Zealot to scout out what's going on in Puckland. Little skirmishes all over the map. The Disruptor meets up with the Warp Prism. Second Disruptor is saved as well. He's gonna back out. Blink almost finished here for Puck. +2 weapons almost on the way, though, for Astrea. He's pretty freaking far ahead on that weapon upgrade counter. So going into the late game, Astrea, I think, has the edge here. Even though both players are pretty much even on economy, pretty much even in army supply, those upgrades are going to pay off in spades for Astrea. Now, Puck is going to be dependent on these disruptor shots. Because he's behind in these upgrades, he's going to be taking more damage from Astrea's army in a straight-up fight. However, disruptors are what I like to call a coin flip unit, or M cannons. You know, either or works, really, but they force your opponent into a position where you make a play, you fire the disruptor shot, and your opponent has to react perfectly, or he suffers the damage, right? Of course, you have to execute the disruptor shot, but I would argue that it's more difficult to dodge the disruptor shot than it is to fire it. Not that it's unskilled to land a good disruptor shot, but, you know, your opponent can totally mitigate 100% of the damage if he reacts correctly. High risk, high reward. Early Adept goes down. Both these players positioning carefully. There's the disruptor shots. This will keep Astrea zoned for a little while. Puck really investing in these disruptors, 3 at a time being pumped out, +1 about to finish, but Astrea already working on +3. Has a Stargate out on the field going into Phoenix and dropping a Fleet Beacon. Astrea with his 4th already under production. He did cancel Puck's 4th. Puck really counting on these disruptors to coin flip for him. Astrea going into these Phoenix so he can lift those disruptors. Now, this is really difficult as a player. You have to identify the disruptors in the ball. In the heat of battle, use your Phoenix to get the lift on all of them. If you miss one, if you miss the one that's firing the shot, it means a large chunk of your army could be evaporated because you are focusing on lifting those disruptors as opposed to defending against their disco ball shots. Puck just now finishing up his 4th again. So while the worker count does seem to only slightly favor Astrea here, Puck isn't mining on his fresh base. Here we go. Both players pretty much maxed out. I mean, close enough. Puck has a slight army supply advantage. Astrea going into carriers, getting out additional stargates, and getting a mothership. Now, this bar is halfway full, but don't let it fool you. That mothership is going to take relatively a long time to hit this battlefield. The Zealot run by, gonna pick off a shield battery, not much else. But it does keep Puck at home and distracted. Puck is maxed out. But that's just because Astrea wanted to trade those Zealots out. They're basically free at this point. Astrea remaxes, and these two gear up for an engagement. These Blink Stalkers have their work cut out for them. Feedback on one of the Phoenix. There's disruptor shots. First two don't connect, but I mean, you basically can constantly send out M cannings with this many Ruptors. Okay, there's the lifts. Ooh, 3 shots do connect with Astrea's army, and a lot of it evaporates, but the supplies are still even. Puck now on the back foot. There's still enough Stalkers to shut down these carriers, but a 4th carrier joins the fight. Zealots on the ground trying to absorb some of those shots as the Interceptors replenish. A lot of Phoenix still in the air, getting lifts on the Disruptors. Puck is being forced back. He has a bank to remake a lot of this, but Puck loses the engagement. Astrea goes up 2-1 in the best of 5. In the bottom right, up 2-1. It's the Alpha Dragon, Astrea. And in the top left, as the pink toss, it's Root Gaming's Puck. Astrea with a very dominant late game, going into those Phoenix, going into those carriers, just getting lifts. Bro, Puck, you even lift? Stalker Sentry on both sides, so again, more passive opener. Still can follow this up with Adepts, something like that. The Battle of the Xel'Naga has begun. Puck saying fight to death. But Astrea has yielded! Astrea with the early Twilight Council going for Blink. Puck with the Robo and the +1. Look how quickly that spins. Oh my god. You'd think eventually, like the Protoss and the Terrans would learn, hey, what if we just gave our guys +1 when we put them in the drop pods? What if we just gave them the better guns then? Like, do we really, like, can't we just send down a book with the command center that says, hey, here's how you build +1 stuff? Hell, let's give them +3. They never learned. See, like, with the Zerg, upgrades make sense because they have to evolve, right? They're going out with an Overlord and they're providing psi energy, and they have to grow based off, like, the materials on the planet. Protoss and Terran, they just like, forget. Right? They like have amnesia. It's like, bro, how do we make the better... Oh, what's the combat shield again? How do we do that? Oh, we gotta research it. Oh, mate. Astrea blinks to the high ground, shutting down Puck's production. The Immortal is sniped. Astrea with a really strong blink timing here. Shuts down the robotics facility. No more Immortals will be popping. Puck's strike force has returned home, but Astrea suffering pretty much no losses. Supply blocking proc, shutting down Puck's production. Astrea in a really great position, up 8 workers. And once this next warp in happens, gonna be ahead in army supply. Charge on the way for both players, but gonna finish much sooner for Astrea. Of course, the Twilight did get unpowered for a while when that pylon went down. Rip Cybercore. You guys are ever wondering, these little circles you can see like on the Nexus, that's actually where the players are clicking what they have selected. So you can see like the little halos around these units. As long as I don't have one selected, you can pay attention to these to see what the players are actually microing, what they're looking at, where their attention is on the field of battle. Chargelots enveloping the army of Puck here. Puck's kind of stuck in the back. Warp Prism Micro going to make these units survive a little bit longer. You can see Puck save the Archon. Immortal's still on the field for Puck as well. Ooh, Astrea's going to have to evac this third, and it might go down. More Archons morphing in for Astrea, but Archons don't trade the best against Immortals, and there's still two mixed in here. It's really hard to see, actually. They kind of look like Stalkers with this color, but, yeah. The army in favor of Puck. +2 will be hitting the field soon for Astrea. Oh no, the Disruptor goes down before the shot goes off. 2 shield batteries going to help Astrea a little bit, but the boys are being pulled to help fight now. And I think Puck just has too much. Shield batteries going down. Archons firing from the high ground still. More boys being pulled. But 16 losses for Astrea. GG is called, and Puck evens up the score once again, 2-2. Next map will be World of Sleepers. In the top right, as the red Protoss, it's Astrea. In the bottom left, as the blue Toss, it's Puck. Score is 2-2. One of these players going to be taking home a lot more money than the other as we get into the final game of the semifinals. Once again, thank you to all the admins working hard to make this event happen, as well as Railz for if I can get the sentence out of my mouth, for bank rolling this tournament with the $300 US prize pool. Both players neck and neck in their builds. I think... well, okay, they're both a little bit behind in certain areas, but it's literally like a second at most. Astrea is going to drop a proxy pylon. This is an interesting spot for that proxy pylon. Robotics facility dropped for Puck. Astrea going into Stalkers. Going into Sentries. Puck getting out an Immortal. I'd like to point out, Puck earlier in the series, taking down both Prototype and Geralt. Neither of them easy opponents. Prototype probably lesser known to the general StarCraft audience, but a rising star of the RNG Pro team, and recently hitting like top 20 GM, I want to say, in the past week or so. And increasingly better and better tournament performances. Placing pretty highly at the IEM Katowice qualifiers as well. He did not qualify, unfortunately, but many great players did not. And Astrea taking down Special over on the Korea server off stream, which was, you know, a little bit of a surprise to me. Not that Astrea can't beat Special, but playing Special on his home turf and taking a 2-1 victory. Really impressive there from the Alpha Dragon. Puck stutter stepping in to take down this pylon, shutting down Astrea's production. We're seeing a reverse of game number 4. Oh my god, the War Prism will be shut off here, but Astrea is force fielded out of his main. This is absolute disaster for a red toss. Okay, players getting off pretty good force fields, but 24 probes falling for Astrea. Puck recalls the Immortal, gonna continue dealing damage with the remaining Stalker Sentry Zealot. And this is absolutely brutal for Astrea. "28 probes going down. Puck shoring things up back home. Colossus about halfway done from the robotics facility. Astrea's angry, and he's going for the YOLO push. He's not too far behind in army supply, but there is still an Immortal, and there will be 2 shield batteries on the field at full energy for Puck. Astrea trying to replenish the worker count behind this, but very, very, very behind economically. Oh god, the Colossi out on the field before this can close in. Now, what you just saw there is a little bit interesting. So the Colossus is tagged as a massive unit. Massive units like Colossi, like Archons, like Ultralisks can actually just right-click through force fields. Isn't that incredible? Twilight Council going down for Puck. Astrea playing from behind. How's he going to pull it back? A Robotics Bay dropped for a red toss as well. Adepts coming out at the proxy pylon, going to see if they can get some economic damage done. Astrea still down 10 workers. And the army supply disparity is increasing. Okay, he sees Pucks move out. He's going to go for the Adept Harass. There are shield batteries here, but no defensive units. Puck goes to her third base as he pushes towards Astrea. Defensive Zealot warped in. GG. As Puck takes the series 3-2. He will move on to the grand finals. Stick around though, because we will be casting Astrea